This is Boxing Tickets NI. We're here at the Europa Hotel for the press conference for Belfast Brawl. Today we're joined by the main man, obviously, in promotion-wise in Irish boxing at the moment, Jamie Conlan. Jamie, it's obviously a busy time coming up for you. It's obviously your new sort of fighter, obviously Pierce O'Leary's headlining here in Belfast. And what a fight against Dara Foley.
Fantastic fight. Great local Dublin derby happening in Belfast, but it's a good clash of styles, good clash of a cross of where they are in their careers, an opportunity for Pierce to really piggyback off Dara's name and do something special, but it's also a chance for Dara to show the young pup how the old dog's ride, and he's a tough old fox. Dara's been in Belfast before, he's been in these kind of scenarios before. It's a new scenario for Pierce to be in, it's a new element, a new arena, a new kind of vibe to be in terms of the build-up. So it's a great test for Pierce O'Leary at this stage of his career.
I guess in some ways, probably we know what Dara Foley's like when he brings the press conferences. Probably maybe disappointing he's not here today. We've seen the birthday celebrations with the cake and things like that in the past. They can really G things up, I guess, for ticket sales is obviously good as well. But it'd have been good to have Dara here today. I don't believe there's going to be a press conference in fight week, so the first time they're probably going to see each other is going to be in the way, aren't they?
It's a bit of a shame because Dara on fight week is brilliant, and it would be good to have that, again, the atmosphere, Pierce to build up with the fight, all the wee intangibles that you don't get to experience in the ring to build up the fight would have been good, but it is what it is. Dara, he does sell a fight really well. I remember him and Tyrone here going back and forth. Both of them are well known for their press conference banter, so it was well. And then, as you've seen, he's over in England at the Jack Carroll and Robbie Davis nights, and in Australia. But no, the fight itself is a great clash of styles. Great opportunity for Pierce to really show where he is in world level.
It's been a couple of weeks, obviously, since it was confirmed, obviously, and announced that obviously that you're going to be managing Pierce, obviously moving forward. Have you got over that sort of initial Christmas buzz, obviously? Because I've known, obviously, you've admired obviously Pierce for quite a long time. Like, what a coup this is, obviously, for your stable of fighters to have someone of Pierce part of Conlan boxing now.
No, it's a massive coup. Like, even when you sit down and talk to him, I've always said to him, and it said openly, that his mindset separates him from any other fighter I've seen and been around. Just how he talks, how he thinks, how he visualises, how he dissects himself in sparring, in training, and tries to make himself better each day. He's been a joy to be around the past few weeks, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him putting up a show. I can't speak highly enough about this fella, both in the ring and outside the ring. I think he'll be a world champion. But Harry kind of carries himself outside the ring is a bigger testament to him and his family. He's a proper, genuine family man. Everything he does is for the wife and kids back home. And seeing him in camp, seeing him with the family in camp, seeing him outside of camp, he's got everything to be the next Irish superstar.
Obviously, speaking of Irish superstars, obviously we finally landed our first world champion in 5 years. Obviously, Anto Cacace was here and he sort of disappeared again. He doesn't like the limelight, but we obviously spoke here last year. Obviously, when Mick was obviously fighting for obviously a second attempt at a world title fight, we now have a world champion. So, like, isn't it fitting in some ways that Queensberry's first show in the UK and Ireland back from Riyadh, from Anto winning, is obviously here in Belfast?
So I think everyone probably in Belfast, especially in West Belfast, were jumping up and down when Anto Cacace was fighting Cordina, and myself included. It was a great night for all. He is known as a good guy within the community, the boxing community here. Everyone likes him. He's that jokey, messy guy. As you say, hates the limelight, but he is a superstar. Harry's came across after. Harry's handled himself after winning world title is brilliant, and his character should be seen on a bigger stage because he is a real, genuine good guy, a likeable guy, and delighted for him going out to Riyadh and doing that against Cordina. And Harry went about and done it. How the odds were against him before it, and how to build up, the fall through prior to it, the injuries prior to it, and the whole story coming to that situation was just, it was a fairy tale, and I was delighted for him, delighted for his family, because people don't see the hard work behind the scenes. They see the big nights, and they've all seen Anto Cacace now and exploding on the scene. But there was a lot of hard slogs, a lot of disappointments over the years for Anto, and both his family and his missus who had to carry a lot of that weight as well, and his father and his brothers as well. So everyone knew, and I think that's one thing that probably his whole team stood with him. They all knew that the quality was there, and one day it would be able to shine through.
Obviously, the inspiration part, as I say, with the troubles and tribulations he's come through, that can obviously have a massive snowball effect on everybody else. Obviously, your own brother Mick as well. Obviously, he's challenged for world title twice and can see the inspiration where things might not go right for you, but you can still get there with the hard work and determination.
Yeah, definitely 35 years of age as well, you know. It's similar to my own age, and myself and Paddy were having a cup of tea here and they joked about it. The Paddy's 35 as well, and look what he can do if he's 35 and look what Paddy can do. But it's a game. I think this game it's a weird old sport. Sometimes your luck is into moves now, but if you stick it out, it always will come good in the end, I believe. But that was the fairy tale. That was a big fairy tale moment for everyone here, because I don't think anyone really give up hope on Anto Cacace in terms of the quality. I think everyone has championed him throughout the years in terms of how good he is. Anyone who's trained with him have always spoke highly about him, and you know, got to see him up close and personal sparring with Michael last year as well, and you know, spend time with him in the camp was brilliant, and just great crack going out for dinner throughout the week. Seeing him and seeing the quality in the ring, everyone was just delighted for him. Yeah.
I guess he's had a new role now, and I sort of messaged him yesterday and I sort of said he came from nobody wanting to fight him to now everybody's calling him out. Obviously everybody in boxing now, Lee Wood, Josh Warrington, even obviously other fighters in Queensberry calling him out now as well. Like, it's a strange obviously predicament he has now. I guess obviously it's a Sugar Nunez fight to get through first, but everybody wants a piece of Anto Cacace after years of everybody avoiding him.
Yeah, it's a great place to be in for him now. The world is his oyster. Financially, he's in a fantastic situation where he can set him and his family up for the future, and it's great. It's great to see. It's great to see someone so humble and someone so hardworking like him that he's getting this chance now.
Obviously, the same weekend, obviously, you're obviously doing your first show outside Ireland, obviously in Liverpool. I think you have maybe one Irish fighter maybe confirmed in the card so far, maybe potentially a second one.
Aye, we should have two more on the card. Cronin and Jamie Morrissey most likely will go on Liverpool as well. We're just figuring it out at the minute, but we're looking at getting the two lads on, getting them out, keeping them active and keeping the ball rolling there. Kevin was in Boston. We've been looking at Kerry. It's starting to prove a bit too hard logistically to get it working, but we'll keep him active and get a big fight hopefully in the summertime for Kevin.
Well, it'll be sort of strange for you, obviously not hearing so many Irish voices. Always been in Liverpool. I guess you still have a strong Irish contingent in Liverpool as well, but different avenues, different barriers sort of for Conlan boxing.
What are you saying? It's hard to understand Scousers?
Just in fact that you're not hearing so much Irish accent, sort of, the atmosphere we have here obviously can't be matched.
No, it is. It's like going to the Olympia. I boxed in the Olympia myself as a pro, and it's an iconic venue around the UK. I think everyone in Liverpool has boxed there, and it's the kind of progress stage before getting to the Echo and stuff. But it's just a feeling out process. Liverpool being the first point of contact to kind of go outside of Belfast because of we have good relationships on the ground there. Tom Stalker, the Smith brothers. There's a lot of good fighters there. Jack Rafferty, who we're working a wee bit with here, and Tom and stuff. So Steve Clark and Liv Hussey. It's Liverpool, just like Belfast, is a massive boxing hub. Continuously training and are churning out new prospects and bringing in world champions. So it just was right to go there.
And obviously then the 3rd of August, obviously repeater revenge. What a card, obviously you're building. Obviously there's 4 really good sort of title, sort of equivalent sort of fights and 5 debutants confirmed so far. But I'm sure obviously this first taster in a couple of weeks' time giving you a taster for obviously your card at the start of August.
Definitely. August has always been a date that we kind of pencil now in our diaries, whether we can do it in the park or do it in the SSC. We flirt with the idea with both, and Tyrone coming back stating that he wanted to go again, kind of had a fitting of he'd never headlined a show in his career, and that was one thing he wanted to do before he retired again. And then the other one was the right, the wrong of Mimoune. Mimoune then jumped at that chance as well. This fight's a fantastic fight. It's a fight I actually didn't want for Tyrone, but it's a fight that I know he wanted. Giving Mimoune an opportunity to come and try to clear up the loss which he is disputing, and then giving Tyrone an opportunity to kill off the naysayers that said he lost the fight and put that to bed, and kind of never have any more French people messaging him on and DMing him on social media, so he can shut them and so away. So it's a massive fight. The first fight was a classic. I think it was the number 3 in the Ring magazine or the Boxing News in 2020 when it happened. It was a ding-dong back and forth fight. It was a fight that I didn't expect it to be, because Mimoune before that fight was more of a slickster, pot shotter, but he stood and fought Tyrone for 10 rounds, and Tyrone was made to work really, really hard. It's a fight that has that extra ingredient now. both of them a bit longer in the tooth. Both of them wanting more anger, more hatred in their work. I think it's all they're just going to stand in the middle of the ring, trade for 10 rounds, I believe.
Tyrone sort of in his promo, he sort of built out was sort of, I think, blaming you for sort of bringing him back. It was probably more Tyrone. I think you initially said to me before is Tyrone sort of announced his retirement without anybody knowing. And then in his promo, obviously, you're giving him the phone call to say, we've got you a fight. It's Tyrone that's wanted to come back and it's not you that sort of pushed him back.
No, Tyrone wanted to come back. Tyrone probably. So Tyrone, when I had said mimoune, Tyrone kind of made sure we took that fight. That all right. I'm not really. I'm looking at this other guy, mimoune. What about mimoune? And he was straight, and that's the one he wanted. Once mimoune was on the table, he snatched it up, and same from mimoune. The one thing he wanted from Pro Box, his promoter, was to get the Tyrone McKenna fight, and they were trying to get it. I think maybe last year sometime in Miami, and we weren't able to do it. We had other plans for Ty, and I think he was fighting Regis Prograis around about that time. So it's came full circle now, and here we go. It's massive fight. Titles and all don't mean anything in this one. This is sheer hatred. This is pride and ego is a place, and just righting wrongs.
So obviously a couple of tasty, obviously domestic sort of. You've ruined Farrell and obviously Gerard Hughes. That obviously I think it's going to be X-rated. Obviously come fight week and what they say to each other. Owen O'Neill and obviously Dylan Moran and obviously fearghus, Quinn and Aston Brown was probably the pick of the whole lot. Like a fight you initially planned to do earlier this year. You obviously delighted to get that one over the line again.
Yeah, and again, fearghus, just like Tyrone, very, very easy to work with straight away. He was on his honeymoon when he accepted the fight. Straight back to work now and in the gym for Aston Brown. A massive fight, a fight that we were already looking to do prior. And he got an injury at that time. He hurt his hand around by that time, Fearghus. And Aston's had a fight in the win since and had an opportunity for a Scottish title to fall through. So he's getting a big chance, and we're looking to try to get another title attached to it. But that fight, I think, is a barnstormer. That's both of them again will meet in the middle of the ring. Fearghus knows only one way, and that way is to go like a locomotive train right through you. And Aston has good pedigree, been to the Commonwealth Games, can try and box, but I think he'll stand and meet Fearghus in the middle of the ring. It's a fantastic fight. Rudy and Gerard, again, when we're talking about right and wrongs, both of them have their own say on how the last one went. Controversial, and I think everyone thought it was controversial that night. It was a fight that Rudy thought he won clearly, and I actually thought he'd won clearly. And when I heard it was a draw, I was surprised. But when I say that, the security guard who I was standing beside, he had thought it was a draw. So it's what you kind of like and see. So Paddy thought it was a draw as well, and he manages Gerard Hughes. So it's a fantastic fight. It's a fight building itself. The boys are doing a fantastic job down in Ballycastle the other week. Rudy really wants it. He does really well. As you say, X-rated, has to watch his tongue a wee bit, but it's a great fight, like a fantastic fight, and another opportunity for both fighters to kind of put it all. Guys like Rudy and Gerard, when they're taking these kind of fights, they'll always get another go on our shows because of the opportunity, because they're taking these kind of fights. You know, they're putting their careers on the line. They're putting what their hopes and dreams on the line to take another domestic fight with a guy in a similar position. Whereas other fighters, they prefer to kind of feeling out process and a journeyman, and they pad records a bit. These boys put it all on the line. They're real fighters.
Dylan Moran, obviously Owen as well. Like I know you initially obviously maybe planned to obviously have the Irish title, but it seems like obviously Deco and obviously JB Promotions sort of objected to that. Obviously, is there going to be a title on the line for that fight? I guess sometimes with a domestic fight, you don't need a title.
Bit of that. We are working for a title. We're working on trying to get a title locked in. But again, as you said, the fight itself sells regardless of the title. The storyline sells as well. On what happened in Europa when he failed the weight with Mark and kind of trying to come back and put himself back in the map. We gave him an opportunity in Ulster Hall. Now he's here in a big fight. Dylan Moran and him is a massive fight. It's a fight that kind of came out of nowhere, but it was a fight that when we looked at it made a lot of sense for both of the lads, and whoever wins going forward in terms of their own shows, you know, potentially going down to Waterford with Dylan, potentially doing something over in Gert with Owen and Rudy and stuff, and there's big nights ahead, and this is what these fights will do. These fights will give the winner an opportunity to go on and build their career on their own 2 feet, but also the loser an opportunity then to come back in with another fight and keep the momentum moving each way. So they build off the momentum or build new momentum, but it's a fantastic fight card. We still have 3 fights to announce, our co-main to announce, and 2 other fights to announce. So it's been a bit hectic. I'm really looking forward to it. tickets that we're blocking off now. I think we're about 65% done, so it's going really well.
That's 65% sold already.
Aye, sold already. So we'll be speaking with the SSE on Monday about that there. But yeah, we're probably looking at opening it up a wee bit more. I think we're set for about 3,500 at the minute. We might open it up to 4,200, and that's where we're at. So it's exciting. It's exciting times for Irish boxing because back-to-back shows. Pierce O'Leary carrying this one, and then the likes of Conor Quinn all underneath it. This is what Belfast and Ireland and whole needs. It needs the conveyor belt to keep moving, because if the conveyor belt doesn't move, then the fighters don't fight, and the growth is not there. So Irish boxing will stall, but we need these big nights to keep coming thick and fast.
I guess in some ways, obviously, having quite a lot of the evidence in one card, we probably knew was going to happen this year with obviously the Olympics and everything else. They obviously have 5 on one card. The only other time I can remember quite a lot of the evidence, obviously a Boxing Ireland card. I think obviously one of the GA grounds in the South, I think they've done about 7 or 8, but amongst them 5, the evidence, another obviously Dublin fighter, and obviously Gareth Dowling, probably a lot of comparisons between him and Pierce. Obviously, they just seem to be in that Dublin Docklands gym. They just seem to be serious bangers.
It's one of the best gyms in Ireland. They keep producing the talent right through from youth level to elite level, and it's a gym that when you're looking at the fighters, you go, they're actually all made to be pros as well. They transcend into the division, into the professional ranks. So Gareth was always on the radar, what he was doing at under 22 level. But even before that, the power was evident, and then going through the under 22, stopping everyone. What he done, knocking people out as well. It's just really, really, really exceptional talent, and I'm excited to see the progress. Again, same as Pierce, very, very articulate in terms of trying to get everything right in terms of the camp. What he does outside his life, and just getting everything right in terms of preparation is. It's been good, and I was speaking with Pierce in terms of it's been a bit of fresh air, seeing the very start. I enjoy this part of the journey where everything is new, unique, and something is building. That's exactly what's happening with Gareth. I think Dublin boxing could be building something massive down there with the likes of Gareth, Emma Brennan, Thomas Carthy, Pierce. There is a massive generation of fighters coming through. It's just, again, they need the showcase, they need the opportunity to showcase their talents, and on the wider scale with the broadcasters.
The one I'm not going to forget, and obviously I was speaking to you just before we started, 9 days out from Crocker, Conal Walker. I sort of watched the matchroom stuff last night and the build-up. Like, next week's probably, they're definitely going to need security between the two of these guys when they come to press conference and weigh-ins next week.
Sheer violence. I think both, as we're saying about Tyrone and all, but when you hear Lewis Crocker up close and personal, all I can say is that man is sheer violence. He punches like a fucking mule. He hits right through you. Every punch he throws, every shot he throws has intent to hurt. It's not point scoring. There's no, I'm trying to feel out this round and coming out to hurt you. But Conor Walker is also the same, and we're in his backyard, and prey is at stake, ego is at stake. I think they're going to meet in the centre of the ring, and it's whoever bends first is going to lose. Was over watching Croc sparring 12 rounds the other day. 2-3 different fighters. He was phenomenal. The pace is unbelievable. The heat in the gym was I did not expect being in Glasgow, but fantastic to see him up close and personal. The way he was working, what they're working on in the gym. This fight is fireworks.
I just want to finally speak on your brother Mick. Obviously, since we've last spoke, he's obviously confirmed he's carrying on. He had a bit of a Twitter spat last week with obviously a potential opponent for Lewis and obviously Paddy Donovan. Did you get to see any of that? It's I wasn't sure who you were sort of giving like a 10-8 round to, but there's a bit of back and forth between them two. It shows that there's something building, obviously, potentially between Lewis and Paddy.
I think Mick was selling the fight. I don't think it was overly too disrespectful to Paddy. Paddy tried to be more disrespectful and personal. But I think that shows a lot of fear in Paddy Donovan, and immaturity as well. But he's signed in now to fight Lewis Crocker. So if Croc comes through Conor Walker, which I believe is probably a harder fight stylistically for Croc than Paddy Donovan, then they're going to have to meet now because he's read his checks. He has to cash them in. It's a fantastic fight for Irish boxing. I think Paddy, I've always been very high on Paddy's potential and what he's able to do. He's got a great team around him. He's got a great family around him. But would he be able to do that against Lewis Crocker? And that's, I think, all Mick was asking him. And then he was just selling it more, and Paddy kept biting and taking the bait and wanted more of the, make it a bit more personal. But what he did show was that he didn't really want to talk about Lewis Crocker. He just wanted to try and talk about Michael, and that's his avoidance of the problem at hand. Michael isn't the problem at hand. The problem at hand is Lewis Crocker, and that's not someone you can beat on a Twitter spot. You'll have to fight him in the ring.
Where would that fight potentially be? Would it be Belfast? Obviously, we know Paddy Donovan sort of really hasn't had a show sort of close to home in a big sort of occasion. But would that fight obviously happen here in Belfast at the SSE?
I think it probably makes more sense here. I don't think Paddy has a big following. He's not had the opportunity to showcase it, but I think people will travel up and people will travel around. But I think the following is with Lewis Crocker. It's a fantastic fight. Listen, it's a fight that would sell the SSE arena. It would grip the public because of the clash of styles, because of the clash of just personalities and how to go about their work. And you know, Paddy's always had the limelight from an amateur coming right through. Lewis has have a cult following, and what he does inside the ring is destruction. But Paddy's always carried himself a wee bit of like class and boxing ability and good boxing brain. But it's a real clash of styles and a clash that will really be needed to kind of do the SSE arena.
And it potentially obviously might be a final eliminator for a world title, because I think Conor Walker's 5 at the minute. I think Paddy's within the top 10, so you can nearly work out it could be a final eliminator for the WBA title.
It has every right to be. I think both guys are on that verge of a big fight, so why not? It would give both of them an extra incentive and an opportunity to really get into it even more. It would add value to the fight. It would add a bit of needle to the fight. But both of them being so close to world title opportunities, and yeah, may the best man win.
No, listen, thanks very much for your time. I think I've got over 20 minutes out of you there, but thanks very much for your time. Obviously, a very busy time coming up for you, and no doubt we'll catch up with you very soon.
Really great to see you, mate. All the best.
Cheers, Jamie. Thank you.